Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 8, entitled as Akshara Brahma Yoga. Sloka 6. Yam yam vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ tyajaty kalevaram tam evaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ. Previously, Krishna said, if you remember me at the time of death, you will attain my nature accordingly. That brought up a follow-up question. What about those who do not remember you, but then remember something else? Will they still attain you? Krishna's response to that question here in this 6th sloka is same. But they will not attain me, rather they will attain the nature of what they remembered at the time of death. Let's see the word by word and the translation. Kaunteya, O son of Kuntī, ante, at the time of death, yam vāpi, whatever it may be, bhāvaṁ, nature, smaran, thinking of, kalevaram, the body, tyajaty, gives up, sadā, always, tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ, due to the deep impression created by continuous thought about an entity. Tamtameva, that very state, iti, attains. So, it is not that only he who thinks of me in his last moments attains a state similar to me, but also whatever entity besides me one thinks at the time of death, he attains similar to the state of that entity. The translation is, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kuntī, that state he will attain without fail. There are two challenges. One is, we don't know how we are going to die. Second is, we don't know what we'll be thinking at the time of death. At the time of death, we might get so many thoughts, and these thoughts are mostly depends on the way we have led our life, in what we have been fully engrossed in. It could be our house, money, possession, our children, spouse, could be even our enemies, our dog. So, there are several things that we might be engrossed throughout our life, and it could be any of these things may come into our thought at the last breath, and that last thought that comes will be the nature, same nature that we will attain in our next life. Yam vāpi bhāvaṁ smaran, remembering whichever being, regardless of its high or low nature, he attains a similar state without doubt. And one's great deeds, merits, cannot prevent this. We saw this in the example from the previous sloka of Jada Bharat. Jada Bharat, being a great soul, But none of those things helped him to prevent from getting a dear body. Therefore, it is important to know the rule for getting next body is completely based on the last thought that we have at the time of death. Sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ. When a person is constantly engrossed in a particular thought, it leaves impression in his mind in the form of a tendency. This tendency is the reason why the same thought arises in one's mind at the final moment. So, one cannot assume that one can easily be able to remember God, Krishna, at the time of death. One cannot think, I can lead a life however I want, but when it's time for me to die, I can simply remember Krishna so I can attain Krishna. It is said, death is the most painful situation in life, and it is exceedingly hard to remember Krishna at the time of death. But for those who are in Krishna consciousness, it becomes easy. Srila Prabhupada in his purport states that very nicely. If in one's present life one lives in the mode of goodness and always thinks of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one be transferred to the transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendentally absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental, not material. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada gives a solution that chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. For the devotees who have completely surrendered, there is no possibility that they will not remember Krishna, and there is no possibility for them to take rebirth. Even if their mind revolves on other objects rest of the time, which is quite impossible, but just for argument's sake, if we consider that way, Krishna will bring his thought towards him at the time of death. That is his grace. Even if we forget for whatever the case, but Krishna does not forget one who was surrendered to him. That he confirms in Varaha Purana, Aham smarami mat bhaktam nayami paramam gatim. That is, even if you forget me, I am thinking of you continuously without ever forgetting you. In the final moment, I make you think only of me, smarami. This is said by Varahadev in his Charma Sloka. Acharya has given some examples. At the moment of death of Hiranyakashipu, he thought of Nrsimhadev as a 10-headed demon who was going to take his life off and became 10-headed Ravana in his next life. Ravana thought of Sri Rama as a prince and gave his body. Hence, he was born as King Shishupala. Shishupala died thinking of Krishna as a lord of Vaikuntha with his disc, etc. Hence, he attained him and became the keeper of the gate in Vaikuntha. To summarize, Krishna said here in the Sloka, thinking of whatever entity at the time of death, that is the nature that you will attain in your next life. Therefore, the final remembrance greatly matters. It depends on how one has led his life. And if you want to think of me alone at the last moment, think of me all the time. And that is the message Krishna is going to convey in the next sloka. Let's end today's sloka by reciting it. Yam yam vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ tyajaty kalevaram tam evaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ. Namaste. Hare Krishna.